and get to know me close. When your heart goes I hear it and I know. I know you wanna take me home. And take a moment close. When your heart goes
Hello everybody and welcome back. It is Monday, July 10th, 2023, and you're listening to episode 167 of the Can I Say Something podcast. I'm your host and a recluse with a juicy caboose, Damian. Joining me today is...
Derick!
On today's show, we'll be breaking down the fifth installment in the Indiana Jones franchise, The Dial of Destiny. But before that, we'll be getting into a little bit of what we've been watching, including Barry, Twin Peaks, No Hard Feelings, and much, much more, right into the show. Can I Say Something at gmail.com, Bicycle on Twitter, subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Podcast, Spotify, rate and review it on Apple Podcast. Tell a friend, family member, or stranger. What's up, man? How you doing?
Too bad, just got straight out of a movie.
Yeah.
Booked it. I got off work, I was telling you before, booked it to the theater, saw a 95-minute movie, booked it home, just ate some ramen that I had in my fridge, and I was like, let's hit record, let's go.
Let's do this. I as well also just saw a movie, just came out of it, so it'll be fresh in my memory. Also came home, didn't drive home. Like I said, I have a nice walk home. It was like 80, 85 out. I don't know what it is over there. Some egregious, some crazy number I don't even want to think about. Is it hot over there right now?
It was pretty hot earlier today. Now it's like nights cooled off a bit, but it was pretty sweltering before. I had to be in the AC all day.
Yeah, it's getting up there. It's getting to that season. I don't know if I ever told you my bedroom is on the third floor of my apartment, and so it's basically in the attic. So you can imagine what an attic feels like in July in a muggy, gross area of the country. It's pretty nasty. I have to have the AC running pretty much all the time right now. Like on Monday it's going to break. It's going to get down to like 70s, and then I can sort of crank it back. But right now, just to have it even, sleepable, to have any sort of situation where I'm not just like, I don't feel like I'm in fucking Vietnam in the 70s. I'm just like, ugh, fucking mosquitoes. Goddamn,
it was
Charlie and the mosquitoes.
It was Monday set the record for highest global temperature ever recorded, and then that record got broken Tuesday. So
and my mom wonders why I don't want kids. Yeah, like figure it out, Mom. Look around, please, just once. Yeah. So anyway, let's get going. Some of the unfortunate movie news. Alan Arkin passed away this past week. He was, let me look this up, 89. Wasn't the guy we talked about last time also 89? Cormac McCarthy? I believe he was also the same age.
Might just have been.
Yeah. So Alan Arkin, I remember seeing, for some reason I saw it on TV. I was definitely not the age where I would have been seeking it out, but I saw Glenn Ross a lot on HBO back in the day. So I saw him in that. Longtime theater actor, longtime movie actor. One of the ones people keep bringing up on Twitter. Walter Shaw was talking about him in an early movie he was in 1967, and I'm looking for it right now, but it's he was in a movie with let me see if I can pull it up. It was a movie called Wait Until Dark from 1967, directed by Terrence Young. It had Alan Arkin and Audrey Hepburn, where Audrey Hepburn played a blind woman who was a victim of a home invasion, which was kind of crazy even back then. So there was that. Most people probably know him from his Oscar-winning role in Little Miss Sunshine, right?
Yeah, that's where I first, because I was about 16 when that movie came out. Yeah. And me being that's right when I was starting to be like, ooh, pretentious little film guy. Ooh, what's this, Little Miss Sunshine? So Indy, so twee, So I was all about that shit. Obviously he won the Academy Award for that one. And, I definitely became familiar with his output around that time, him showing up in like Get Smart and Sunshine Cleaning, and a lot of stuff in like the late aughts. After Sunshine Cleaning, I really was what I know him best from, for sure.
Yeah, let me see. Sunshine Cleaning. Oh, that was like 2 years later. That was when Get Smart, like you said. You see, Argo. Argo, fuck yourself. Famous. The famous
Go fuck yourself. Yes, he's the one.
It's the one that coined the phrase. Yeah.
Yes.
Man, I would love to be in the writer's room when they came up with that. Like, did the people say this in real life?
Yeah.
Did somebody just like say this out loud and like a really high up exec heard it and they're like, you have to include that in the movie or we're not going to fund it? Like, how does that even work? I don't know.
That seems like something that Ben and Matt said to each other. Like, Ben says that, and Matt's like, hold on, say that again.
Yeah, exactly. It appears he has 126 credits overall, which is pretty incredible. Yeah. Long life.
Long time. Yeah.
Long life, good life, yeah. Mm-hmm. Rest in peace, Alan Arkin. So let's get straight to what we've been watching. Not a lot of news out there, just same old shit. Like you said, Twitter, rest in peace. I was looking to, I looked up Blue Sky, put my email in there.
Blue Sky, follow me on Threads. Where are people at? Follow me on Threads.
Yeah. Do you know the movie that people keep referencing about? It was a British movie back in the 80s called Threads about a nuclear holocaust.
No, I have not heard that. I love movies that are like names of internet things, like the one where Clint Eastwood can think in Russian and he can fly a Russian plane because he can think in Russian, and it makes me think of the Firefox browser.
So Threads was a 1984 British/Australian apocalyptic war drama television film jointly produced by the BBC and Nine Network. It was rough. It's on this list of like most depressing movies of all time. It's like up there with like Cup and See. As far as like movies you want to just if you want to have a good like soul crushing, spirit crushing experience, watch Come and See or Threads or any of those others like
Grave of the Fireflies,
Sophie's Choice, Grave of the Fireflies. Yeah, exactly. One of those joyful movies. Right. Let's see. So what I've been watching, I caught up on some things. So caught up with a thing on You watched Barry, right, from beginning to end.
I binged it all right as season 4 was airing. So three was airing. So I caught up to everything in real time as it was about to end.
Yeah, I just watched this over the last couple of weeks, last week or so. It's very, very good. Obviously, Bill Hader directed a lot of this, wrote a lot of this, was the executive producer along with Alec Berg, his writing partner and his co-creator of the show. It's just it's a very weird show, honestly. It doesn't feel like it's taking place in the real world at all, just because of how many moments I'm watching this and I'm like, the fuck? How did they not see him? Like, there's that scene in. We'll be spoilers for this whole thing. Obviously, we both have seen this, so I'll just talk about the whole thing. Full spoilers for all of this, but there's a scene in I think season 2-ish. I don't know. I binged it all, so it's all mushed together for me. Where he went to kill the Marine that the cop told him to kill because the guy was cheating on his wife with him, right? With the Marine was cheating on the cop's wife. And so Barry goes to the Marine and says, "Hey, I was paid to kill you, but I'm actually just going to kidnap you and take you out of town. You're just going to stay there for like a year or whatever." And they get into a fight, and they fight into the house. The daughter comes in, sees him, starts kicking his ass too because she knows karate or some shit.
That was so good.
It was so good, and eventually Barry and Stephen Root's character, what was his name?
Fuchs.
Fuchs, yeah. Barry
Fuchs,
and Fuchs.
or the Raven later on.
The Raven, exactly, yeah. Barry and Fuchs go to like a dollar store to get patched up, and he sees the guy there. He sees the Marine there. So they start fighting there, and the cop that hired Barry to kill the guy shows up, gets knocked out by the guy, or killed. Was he killed or just knocked out? I forget. But anyways, he's there, and they're all fighting in the store. And
he gets knocked out. I think he gets shot later.
Yeah, and so the Marine that Barry was trying to help or kidnap he gets shot by the cops, and the cops just come in there, and Barry's standing maybe like 12 feet away from him. The guy gets shot, and the police just come in, see him, shoot him, and Barry's standing there, and he just scoots and gets out of there. Like, what the fuck? It's such a weirdly.
Cops are fucking stupid.
Sure,
man.
Yes, I know,
Cops
I understand.
Are fucking dumb.
Just to prepare you, this is one of the first. This is going to be the first of many of my what do you call it, picadillo, like just trivial bullshit that annoyed me this week. So just prepare your butthole for all of that stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, man, the cast is so good. Sarah Goldberg as Sally Reed.
Incredible.
Yeah, the moments in Barry which are really great are like when he, Bill Hader and Sarah Goldberg are, doing scenes together in their workshop thing. And Barry just kind of, really nails it in one of those scenes. It's always great. I love, what's his name here? Where do they have the names? Henry Winkler. Great. One of the best roles, obviously. I think he's won a bunch of Emmys for his role in this, and definitely deserves it. Especially near the end, the last half of the series, especially when, it's kind of clear that Barry did kill his girlfriend. I kept seeing that scene where he has Henry Winkler in the trunk of his car, and he goes into Sally's, office and says like, I can help Cousineau, I can help him get over the death of his girlfriend because you can just give him a role in your thing. And she's like, well, I can't. I mean, I could, but I can't because they don't like him and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, well, no, you can do this because I am asking you to, and because we're dating and you're the person that runs this thing. She's like, well, yeah, but I have to trust the people that I hired to be good at their roles of hiring people. And he's like, what did he say? Well, what was the thing that set him off? She was like, we're saying the same thing. And he's like, we're not saying the same thing. We're not saying the same fucking thing. And he's like slamming his head and screaming at her. I was wondering in scenes like that if like the actors are like, okay, good. That was a good take. Yes, good. Let's move on. Or it's like, are you good? You okay? Yeah, obviously. Let's see. Anthony Carrigan as NoHo Hank, just like a really flamboyant gangster, is always it's a hilarious like juxtaposition of a guy like that. I noticed at the beginning when he's in the first episode, it's like, oh, okay, that's the guy that everyone's been talking about, who's really, one of the highlights of the season and or one of the highlights of the show, and steal a lot of the scenes he's in. I've seen his the scenes that he's in, and I've heard so much praise about him. And then he's in the first episode and he gets shot at. I'm like, oh, so okay, clearly he didn't die. Clearly he got away.
NoHo Hank.
Yeah, NoHo Hank. Yeah. Yeah. And it was just interesting framing it like that, knowing that he survives and be like, oh, he dodged out of the way, or if it was like something where they were doing like a test, like sort of like how Jesse in Breaking Bad was supposed to die early on in the first season, but then they kept him around because they had such good chemistry together. I'm wondering if it's the same thing.
Yeah, that's what happened. Is like they intended to kill him off, but they really liked the guy, so they're like, actually, let's say that he survived that.
Yeah. Stephen Roux as Fuchs again. The last season, last half, or not even the last half of the last season, right? The last like 3 episodes was a time jump, right? And his transformation there after that, Fuchs' character after that was really amazing. I love all the great cinematography, and the way they shoot the action is really, really great. Especially that last shootout with Fuchs and NoHo Hank, where it's just like this one long like. These two, it wasn't long at all. It was like 30 seconds, but you could see every piece of it. They both shoot each other, and then there's like 3 guys left, and somebody throws a grenade, and you see these guys explode, and it's like, holy fuck, that was incredible. One of the most insane shootouts I've ever seen. Or the way it was shot was really amazing.
Yeah, and you're just like, where's the kid? Where's the kid?
Where's the kid? Yep.
You're just looking for him, and there's that just moment because Barry thinks he's gonna redeem himself and die, and then that's not what the show. It's like, no, you don't get to go out like a badass like you think. You don't get to just find Jesus and and then it takes him really realizing like, oh no, I have to take responsibility. That's what the show is like about. Is you know, if you it's this can people really change, and part of really changing is taking accountability for who you were and the things you've done, not just thinking that there's a get out of jail free card like finding Jesus or like going down in a blaze of victory. And then, he the way his story ends where he gets shot by Jean, and that act gives him the smallest, most bullshit form of redemption you could get. And it's the smallest form of redemption ever, and that's all he deserves. And then in doing so by choosing wrath and vengeance, Jean ends up, he was about to be saved. He was about to be exonerated, but he ends up being the monster. And then it just, the way it ends with that movie, the made-for-TV movie, just shows the bullshit artifice of Hollywood that the whole thing has been building towards, and like how just distorted everything gets, and it just is a perfect fucking ending. I really loved Barry.
It was a perfect ending. Yeah, I love. They talked about how season 4. Bill Hader took on the directing role more so. I think he did a few before that, but directed all the episodes in season 4. I think you can really see that in the cinematography, where so many scenes are long and drawn out. Like again, the last episode or one of the last episodes where Barry gets all the guns from that store, like a Walmart store or whatever, and just walks out you see him walking from the back to the front, and it's like nobody's really taking notice of him, because that's America in 2023, where just guys have got strapped AK on his back, and just like, that's what that. Yeah,
that's exactly. And well, it's not even American 2023. It's like that's going to be America like 8 years down the line or whatever, because it's set in
true
the future. And Hader was just like, I heard an interview with him. He was just like, basically saying, oh yeah, he's like, this is becoming more and more commonplace, and by a couple of years it's just like, you're just gonna be able to buy guns and just walk out, even in California.
Yeah, really, really, really amazing show overall. There was somebody in there, I think there was a bunch of like supporting cast in there as well. Darcy Carden as Natalie, the first 3 seasons was really great. Let me see. There's somebody in there who was like, oh, this guy. Oh, you know what was fucking hilarious? I saw the scene where Barry's in jail and they're about to release him, right? He's in the office and they're talking about putting him in protective custody, and he's in that room, and like there's like 4 or 5 cops in front of him, and then for some random reason, Fred Armisen's there. And he's like looking at the ceiling.
That guy's here to kill me.
And he's like, what was he doing? Like giving the signal to the guy to shoot him at that point?
He's like super sweaty and like nervous and stuff like that. Fred Armisen's so good. And then that was the episode where it's the guy who hires them who is Guillermo del Toro. That's so right. He's just like, I will kill Barry. So good, man. It's so fucking good.
Yes, it was amazing. Jesus, yeah, just incredible show. I'm really glad I checked that out.
I'm just like, I fucking love dark humor, so this was right up my alley,
Yeah, and it is one of those shows. I'm gonna talk to Dan tomorrow about it, but it's like one of those shows like The Bear, like Succession, like a lot of shows out now. They're like, oh, it's funny, but it's also sad, but it's also aggravating, but it's also stressful. It's like all these things rolled into one, like all in the same scene. It can be that. It's really, really cool that they're putting stuff like that out.
There's a word in Korean, inyeon. It means providence or fate.
Do you believe in that?
That's just something Koreans say to seduce someone.
What a good story this is. Childhood sweethearts who reconnect 20 years later and realize they were meant for each other. In the story, I would be the evil white American husband standing in the way of destiny.
Shut up. He was just this kid in my head for such a long time. I think I just missed him.
Did he miss you?
Hae-sung!
Let's see. So let's go to you. Let's go back and forth. You watch Past Lives. It's one of the movies that I talked about last time. It's definitely sort of solidified as my favorite movie of the year right now. What do you think of Past Lives?
It honestly might. It's not solidified, but it might be my favorite movie of the year as well.
Nice.
I thought this movie was absolutely phenomenal. This is my kind of shit.
Yeah.
Like this is like I love those brief encounters, past encounter movies where it's just like you wonder about, oh, what would have happened if I had been with this person or gone a different way in life. If I, there's all this stuff about the people she was, and just that it's just that interesting dynamic, not only between um the two main characters, but all three main characters really. And there's
Yeah.
all that stuff like past lives it's a very appropriate thing, because it's like, oh well, they keep talking about like in another life, maybe we'll do this and this, so it's a literal thing, but it's also metaphorically, like she is a different person than when
Yeah.
she knew him in a past life. They go through basically three lifetimes once every 12 years, when they keep kind of coming back to each other, and it just it's good on so many different levels. It's an incredible story about immigrants and just like identity and what where you're from means, and the people you leave behind. A lot of smart podcasters and stuff that I've listened to have talked about it's an immigrant story, but it shows not only the immigrant but people left behind, and
Yep.
just incredible performances, and just about how love stretches across decades and continents, and but that doesn't mean it's not a sappy Hollywood thing where there's that moment where the husband, Arthur, is sitting in the bed and he's talking to Nora, and he's like, "Yeah, if this was a movie, you would run off together," and he feels it, and
Yeah.
and it's like there's a connection, there's a definite
Yeah.
connection, even, and there's that, even I love that little moment between Arthur and Haesang, and it's just like he's like, "Yeah, we also were connected in past lives," and
Yeah.
I thought that was so, like, it was so brilliant. I need to watch it again. I can't wait to uh watch it again. So absolutely one of my favorite films of the year. It's on I'm started making my long list of movies that are going to be contenders now that we're halfway through the year, and it's
Yeah.
definitely on there.
Yeah, I'm glad you liked it so much. Some things I forgot to mention about it from last time. They talked about, I think it was Haesung or let me see, Nora mentioned to him to watch. I think Nora said to Haesung to watch Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. I thought that was really appropriate because it's like this past lives is like a inversion of that movie, where Eternal Sunshine was a movie about people trying to force a relationship that didn't work over and over again, and this is the inverse of that, of them not pursuing the relationship, but also knowing that something could have been there if they maybe pursued it, or if something happened differently, if their lives went a different route, then they could have been in a position to pursue a relationship. So I thought that was really smart of them to include that there. I think this is a movie that's going to make me not like a lot of movies going forward, of like, this, why isn't this past lives? Why isn't this as mature? Why isn't this as nuanced? Why isn't this as introspective and adult and mature? Why isn't this as a mature? Because this is a very mature look at like how people actually are. Like you mentioned, Arthur was said in a movie, he would be pursuing you. He would be trying to woo you, and I'd be mad. I'd be the jealous boyfriend. In any other circumstance, in any other instance, we would be like caricatures of ourselves, but they're not. They're very fully formed, realistic, three-dimensional depictions of actual people. So I thought that was just a extremely extreme breath of fresh air when it comes to stories like this.
Yeah, absolutely. And she has that moment with him where she's like, she goes and she has to say goodbye to Haesung, and then she just goes and hugs Arthur and just starts crying, and you're just like, fuck, man. Like, and you mentioned the Eternal Sunshine thing. It's funny because I remember that she said something about Montauk in like the second act, and I was like, I literally only know Montauk because of Eternal Sunshine. And then 2 seconds later, she's like, "Hey, Eternal Sunshine, you should watch it." And you're like, "Oh my god!" It just, I don't know. It really resonated with me because I haven't been in obviously that exact situation, but you have things in your life that you're like, yeah, this could have gone differently. You could have if I could have ended up with this person. If things would have been different. Things would have happened differently, and they still mean so much to me. And but things didn't work out, and I just love that. Oh man, I kind of lost my train of thought, but
Yeah.
I had something, but fuck, it's just yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, it's an incredible movie. I think it's another banger by A24. It's gonna be hopefully it's remembered this time, or not this time, but later this year during award season. Really hope it gets the attention. Yeah, it's a very special movie. Yeah, it's Silly Song's first movie. I'm not sure if he'd written anything else, but yeah, just knocked, like I said last time, knocked it out of the park with her first go around. I really hope they get attention later on in the year.
That's what I was gonna say. Is like they have, when she's talking in bed to him, and he says, what if like you had met some other guy who was just like me at this conference, and he did this and this and this for you, or what if like you would, and she's like, that's not how life works. And I think that's the entire crux of the movie. It's like there are so many what ifs, but that's not how life works.
Yes, exactly. So I'm going to say Montauk. They mentioned Montauk in Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Again, weird coincidence. No hard feelings. I'll just mention that right now. As it takes place in Montauk. Very weird to have that one place.
Do they reference Eternal Sunshine? Because that's literally my only frame of reference for Montauk.
I don't.
Montauk.
Yeah, I don't think so. It's one of those movies that I don't think has that in mind of referencing a lovely movie like this. This isn't that type of movie at all. This is a very raunchy teen comedy directed by Gene Stumpsky. I'm not sure what else has he done. Let's see here. Gene Stumpsky filmography. Oh, Bad Teacher. That makes sense. He did Bad Teacher and Good Boys in 2019. So that's, of course he did this. Yeah. With this stars Miss Jennifer Lawrence, Andrew Barth Feldman as the kid, the 19-year-old kid. Natalie Morales plays her friend, and Matthew Broderick plays the father of the teen boy trying to get laid. Well, he's not trying to get laid. His parents are trying to get him. His parents are trying to get him laid. This is a very funny movie, and it, I think it's one of those genres, along with like the rom-com, that has maybe not died, but it's definitely taken a backseat in the past 5 or 6 years. It's a really good version of those. I think it has the heart that these things sort of demand to be in there to be considered a good one of these. I think Jennifer Lawrence should do more of these. I think she's a very funny person in real life. In interviews, she's famous for that. She just did a Hot Ones interview recently where
What do you mean? What do you mean?
This is very funny on there. Just a great all around, just a very funny movie. I think they talked about this on The Big Pick, and they were like, there's one scene that is worth the price of admission. They said, and I'll just leave it at that. It's very funny, very funny scene.
I need to see it. My friends were seeing it the other week, and I had an opportunity, but I was exhausted after work, so I didn't go. I should see this one.
Yeah, definitely one of those you could probably wait for on VOD whenever that comes out pretty soon. Okay. Let's see. Let's jump to The Bear, something that you caught up with that I watched over the summer.
I'm still not completely caught up. I quickly binged all of season 1. Yeah, and I'm about 4 episodes into season 2. But it is so fucking good.
It is very fucking good. Yeah, I have some notes. I'm gonna do a pod tomorrow with Dan about this. So I'm gonna pull up my notes real quick about this. First of all, this is one of the shows that everybody's talking about. I talked about it a lot to your face. It's like, hey, watch this. It's the best thing ever. Did it live up to the hype for you?
Yeah, it's fucking great. Nice. I don't know. It's very stressful. But it's so entertaining. I don't know. I like Karam a lot. I relate a lot to him. I feel like.
Yeah.
So I'm just a fucking real big fan of this one. Just high anxiety and stress and everything. And I was working. They a bunch of people called out of our cafe today, so I had to go help them out over there. And I just felt like. And it got really busy, and I was like, I was just like, yes, chef.
Did they get the joke?
They did not get the joke.
Unfortunately not.
No.
Let me see. Who are some of your favorite characters? You like Richie?
I fucking hate Richie. I fucking can't stand Richie. He's such a piece of shit.
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think if 4 episodes into season 4, if they, because to me, not just
I get it. I get why you feel sorry for him, but like he sucks so much.
He does, true, but he's not like a sociopath. He feels bad for the things he says. I think there's that moment.
He's like everyone's asshole friend they can't get rid of.
Yeah, he is.
It's like
I understand.
Paulie from Rocky. I fucking hate Paulie too.
I was gonna say there's this. But he has these moments of like, yeah, I know you're sorry, but like, yeah, I get your point, but like I can see his heart. You know what I mean? He says things like, when I think there was a moment in the last episode of season 1 where Richie's telling Carmi that he's the only one he has, right? He's coming back from jail. He got arrested for like assaulting that guy, and Carmi bails him out, and they're on the ride home. And Richie was like, you're pretty much the only person, I have in my life. So, that always sucks when you have people like that who are like, yeah, okay, so then stop being an asshole if I'm the only person you have,
Yeah, exactly.
One of my favorite relationships on the show and relationships overall is Carmi and Sid. I think they have one of the best platonic male-female relationships out there. Really, really good. Gets even better in season 2. Richie and Carmi, obviously. Richie and Sid when was it the second to last episode where it's the Oner episode where
that episode was fantastic.
Yeah, Sid stabs Richie by accident in his ass. Sid and Tina have an exceptional relationship, I think, where Tina is this person who's probably been there 20 years and is very much set in her ways and has to be talked into doing things a certain way, right?
She took it. I really didn't like her. She took a turn for me though. She turned it around. Yeah. To answer your question, I mean, I like Carm, the bear. He's great. Obviously, I like Marcus a lot. Marcus is probably my favorite character. Marcus is fucking great. I got so fucking mad when he smashed his donuts. I was like livid. I was losing my shit. I was like, how fucking dare you, sir? How fucking dare you? I also like Sugar a lot. Sugar's great, and Maddie Matheson.
Yes. What's his name?
Neil, I think.
Neil, yes, he's fucking hilarious. They have like Neil and Richie have a fight, right? When they're talking about like Neil coming on full time, they like strangle each other. That was great. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, you like Marcus. So I'm trying to think. You're in episode 4 of season 2. Did they send him to the academy yet in Sweden?
No, but thanks. No? I guess now I know that's gonna happen.
I thought they were talking about sending Tina and
they were doing a culinary school, but it's not in Sweden.
Oh, okay.
I don't think it was in Sweden unless I missed something.
Yeah, I'm trying to think when that was. I know they were talking about sending like
they were doing color. It's Tina and the
guy.
He's from the Caribbean, I think. I can't remember.
Yeah.
So it's not Marcus is not doing any culinary school stuff.
No, let me see.
Also, I was like, wait, the Punisher is his brother?
Yeah, he has that one episode in the first season, and you were 2 away from episode 6, which is like
Cameo Fest.
The Cameo Fest, exactly. Let's see.
I just accidentally scrolled down and saw a name on the Wikipedia, so I'm closing it. I don't need nothing else pulled for me.
There's like so many people in that episode. Yeah. What's his name? The guy you're thinking of was Abraham, the line cook.
Yes, Abraham. He's great too.
He is great. Yep. Yeah, just a great cast overall. Let me see if there's anything else here. Favorite moments, like the party scene, the kids' party in episode 4 of the first season was hilarious. Was it? Uncle Jimmy was asking him like, "So are they dead?" And like, "Nah, it's just I forget what they actually. I forget what they poured in the drink, but they're like, "Nah, they'll be fine. They're just
Xanax.
sleeping."
It was fucking Xanax.
Yeah. He's like, "Oh, okay, that's fine then."
He's like, "I kind of like it like this."
kind of like this. Then that great 7-minute monologue when Carmy's in Al-Anon was fantastic. Lot of wonders, a lot of like just like in Barry, a lot of great long shots. And this, I forgot to mention that in Past Lives, a lot of great long shots when Nora and Hae-sung were walking along. When they're both in New York and they're walking along, and you sort of are tracking them along as they're walking there. Really, really great long shots in that movie and in The Bear as well. Let me see. Great music. Love the music on The Bear. Love those needle drops in that show. All this stuff. Yeah. So yeah, Bear's very good. I think it was a very big mistake. I forget if they dropped the whole season last year, but they dropped it. They dropped the whole season. They did all this year. This year, and just a massive mistake. I think this could have been the show of the summer. The people have been talking about this, every week. Just a shame. I don't know why I don't know why they felt the need to do that. I know they have Reservation Dogs, which is another big show on Hulu coming out in August. And maybe they were like, we gotta make room for that. But like, come on, guys, you just it's not. Because like we're having a discussion right now is like me and you, and then Dion is tomorrow. Then I'm like, you're both trying to catch up, and it's like we don't have to catch up. We can just take our time and simmer. Yeah. We can simmer in The Bear over the summer, which would have been nice. But we're simmering in Secret Invasion, which I don't have written down, but I did catch up on the 3rd episode. I don't know if you're caught up on that.
I am not. Well, we're gonna do a whole podcast about the whole show. It's good to say. We could save it.
Oh, yeah. I know you're doing that. that's news to me.
What are you talking about? You know we're doing that. We said it like fucking 5 months ago. I said, Damian, what show do you want? You come on my Marvel show. What do you want to talk about? You can talk about literally anything you want that's coming out 2023. And you said Secret Invasion. Mark it down. I want to talk about that. And I said, all right.
Yeah, I said that before I shot the show. I'm
kidding.
I'll still talk about it. Yeah, I'll still talk about it. Let's see. You watched Joyride, I think I talked about a gross out comedy. This also seems like maybe it's a gross out comedy. Is that what this is?
Yeah, it's it feels like a 2006 sex comedy. Like, gotcha. To the point where it was directed by Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg, but mixed with like the plot of past, like, or not the plot, but like past lives themes and stuff like that, where it's like, oh yeah, this is like, that kind of road trip sex comedy that you would see in the early aughts from like the Apatow crew, but it's with all Asian women, which is cool and refreshing. But it also means you get points of like being like, wow, this is like this story about someone who was an immigrant and never knew who birth parents, and she's in China and trying to discover her roots and find her birth mother. And there's this poignant scene where she's crying, and then it just cuts to like, hey, Stephanie Shu has a fucking devil tattooed on her vagina.
Wow. All right.
There's some tonal whip. Like, I was laughing really hard. Yeah. But it does try to be like serious and poignant at times and act like it's past lives, but you're like, this is a fucking stupid ass movie, guys. Like, that being said, though, there's a character called Deadeye who is one of my favorite, is easily my favorite character of the entire year in any movie. One of my favorite characters ever. Oh wow! Played by Sabrina Wu, who's never been in anything before. This is the only film credit that I see of hers on Letterboxd. Yeah, and she is fucking phenomenal.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's funny. If you're looking for a good 90-minute comedy and you have 2 hours between work and recording a podcast, it's a good thing to watch.
All right, yeah, I'll definitely be checking that out. I think it's one of those that's not really playing around here. Probably gonna get wider release pretty soon, but I'll definitely be checking that out. All right, so just to talk a little bit for a second about Red Rising, because I finished the 5th book. 6th one is supposed to be coming out later this month. This is like I'm just gonna drop some names. It's sort of like that, but not really. It's like in the futuristic dystopian version of like Game of Thrones. It's got that palace intrigue stuff mixed with like it's got a little bit of Hunger Games in there, and it's also got the Expanse stuff with the ship battles and that kind of thing. What else did it have? Just a lot of really fucking sick action, like Warhammer shit. What was the other one that they were like, oh yeah, it's sort of like that, and that. Yeah, it's just like a really fast-paced action. It's got the deaths, main character deaths of like Game of Thrones. Really, it's like an adult version of what the fuck was it? I don't know. It's just got a lot of violence, sex and violence, and blood and guts, and really, really good. It's about see if I can get a synopsis here. Let me see. So it's about like a guy. It's a red named Darren, who was a red working in a mine on Mars, and the entire world's been like divided up into colors. So like the low colors, mid colors, and high colors. High colors, obviously, just like an RPG. It's the golds, the yellows, the bronzes. All of those people are the high colors. Low colors are the browns, reds. Grays, those sort of people are the workers. And Darrow is somebody that has been working in a mine on Mars to try to, what do you call that? You're building up a new city in a place that's never had a city before. Terraform, thank you. Yes, exactly. Yep, he's terraforming Mars for the golds and the high classes. Yeah, good game. So then his wife says, hey, come here, check this out. They were told for like hundreds of years, for generations, they've been told, okay, just keep working and eventually we'll build you a society. You'll build yourself a society above ground. Then you'll be, better off. They're like, okay. And so one day his wife says, hey, check this out. And she found a tunnel leading up to the above ground and the surface, and apparently
Elon Musk is up there.
Elon Musk is there with his car that he sent out to space years ago. No, they've built the city. It was done. It was completed centuries ago, and they've been toiling away underground for no reason, pretty much, to give the people above ground all of the wealth and all of that stuff. So pretty on the nose, social commentary there. But really good. They basically take him and transform him into a gold. They make him, they make his bones denser, build up like 6-7 inches. They basically make him into a weapon to take down the high class people. So really, really good book. It's really funny that I started this book now and is finishing this year. That happened a couple times. It happened with Children of Time. I started that, and the third book came out a few months later. And it also happened with the Expanse books. I started those books about a couple months before that series finished. So I'm getting pretty lucky with these series that I'm just randomly starting, and the last of them is coming out within a few months of that. So yeah, check it out. Red Rising. First 5 books are very, very good.
Nice.
Yes, okay. Read by Pierce Brown, should mention that. So with that, let's get to the big one, big release of the week. Yes. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
Dr. Jones, get him. Hitler made mistakes, and with this, I will correct them all.
You stole it.
Then you stole it.
And then I stole it. It's called capitalism.
This way!
Fasten your seatbelt. There might be some turbulence.
You've taken your chances, made your mistakes. And now, a final triumph.
You saw this last week, right?
I saw this last week. I saw it, opening night, Friday night. I got to see it on a true IMAX screen, not not one of the because most of the IMAX screens you see are not actual IMAX screens. This is like a real, true IMAX screen.
Nice,
huge amphitheater with the enormous screen. So yeah, I got to check it out.
I'm jealous. I really want to see Dune in IMAX. I really want to see. What's the Oppenheimer? Would love to see Oppenheimer in IMAX. Are you going to see that over there?
Yeah, I'm going to see Oppenheimer, and I'm going to probably see it at the True one because it's not an AMC. I have to pay for it. But I have the AMC app, but my friend had the Regal app, and she had a free ticket, so I got to go see it there. So that worked out. But they're still the fake IMAXs that I go see stuff on all the time because I just go for free.
Yeah. We have a fake Max over here at Albany, which I can usually get to a couple times a year to see stuff on there. So Indiana Jones.
The fake IMAX is about 10 minutes from me, so I just go over there.
Yeah. Indiana Jones 5, directed by James Mangold, obviously starring Harrison Ford, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, Antonio Banderas, Toby Jones, Boyd Holbrook. I always have to
fucking Boyd Holbrook.
I have to enunciate his name because I always want to say Hoyd Bolbrook, but it's Boyd Holbrook. I've never heard that name before. B-O-Y-D, Boyd. Boyd, yeah.
You never watched Justified then, I guess.
No, I've never watched Justified. He's in the new one, isn't he?
Get on that.
He's in the new one, the remake.
Boyd is a character. Walton Goggins plays Boyd.
But Boyd is in the new one. They're remaking it, right? Not remaking it, but doing a movie special, I think, right?
It's like a Hulu miniseries.
Gotcha.
I don't know if Walton Goggins is going to be. It'd be weird to have Justified without it, but it's because it's Raylan Givens.
Gotcha. So those are the people in it. I saw this just recently today. Why don't you lead on this? Because this is one of your big ones, one of your favorite franchises of all time, correct?
Yeah, this is Indy is big for me. Indy, a big part of the reason I am even as into movies as I am today is because of the Indiana Jones franchise. I would watch those films as a kid over and over and over, particularly number 1 and 3. And this movie, so I had a lot riding on it. 4, I don't hate it as much as everybody hates it. I just covered it on my podcast, Underrated. But it's not in the same category as especially that first and third one. And so I was kind of hoping like, hey, this is going to be Indy's last climactic big battle. It's or his last adventure. It's going to let the character walk out on his own terms. It's going to, hopefully do some interesting thematic things, and it's not going to ignore Crystal Skull. And I honestly got absolutely everything that I wanted from this movie from it. It delivered as a great, fun, perfect Indiana Jones film. It starts the first 20, 30 minutes with basically the Indiana Jones movie we would have hoped to have seen in the 90s that we unfortunately never got. It basically just gives us that, to the point where he's like fighting Nazis in World War II. In the would have been in the 40s because it would have been the 90s, and they're looking for the thing like the next logical, you go for the cup, the holy grail, you go for the Ark of the Covenant. That's what the Nazis are after. Now they're after the Spear of Longinus. That's another thing. That's another religious artifact that's the Nazis are going after. It starts with that whole thing, but then that's that MacGuffin is a red herring, and the actual dial is what they're after, and that leads into the whole story. And it leads into this incredible, story about how Indy feels like he's been left behind. Like he himself is a relic of the past. He has always been obsessed with the past, and now he is similarly obsessed with the past and his own past, and to the point where he has lost tremendously in the present, in ways that I didn't think, the movie touched all these things. I'll probably talk about later if we say spoilers. Yeah. Are we saying spoilers?
Yeah, sure. Spoilers for this movie.
Okay. Yep. With the death of Mutt, which I thought was some of the best acting I've ever seen from Harrison Ford when he talks about Mutt's death. And he's lost Marion, and he feels like he has nothing left. And the way that all kind of comes to a head with the time travel. And then he goes back in history, and he just literally wants to just die as a piece of history.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are saying they hope that they wanted him to go and live in ancient Greece or whatever. And I think that misses the entire point of what the whole rest of the movie is saying. Is the whole movie saying that Indy, who's obsessed with history and obsessed with the past, has been having the wrong outlook. He needs to realize that he still has things in the present. He still has Marion. And he just needs to accept that. And he still has Sala, and he still has his now he has his goddaughter as well, someone who he should have been caring about. He had her his whole life, and he just her whole life, and he just was not there for her when she needed him. And I thought all of that was so fantastic. So tell me why you didn't like it, Damian.
I loved it. I love the movie.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, thank God! I was so worried I was gonna I was stressing out. Like, oh man. Okay.
Yeah, no, I love it, but I have some questions. That's all. I've
there's
concerns.
some nitpicks. There's some nitpicks.
Yeah,
I would say I have nitpicks, but yeah.
Sure, yeah, nitpicks because the action adventure genre has never been one of my big favorites of mine. I never really jived with the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. Never really jived with like the Mummy movies. Never really jived with any of that stuff. Back in the day, not really my jam. But yeah, this was really fun. It's takes place in. Let me get back up. The beginning of the movie, 1944. Decent. What do you call that? Decent younging. Decent de-aging on all the characters, not just Harrison Ford, but also Toby Jones and also Mads Mikkelsen. Some decent de-aging there. I thought they could have maybe changed his voice a little bit because you can tell it's his old voice on his young face. Going back to like things like The Irishman and like Captain Marvel with Sam Jackson didn't look great. With them running, I think. I think there's ways to do that, but didn't really take me out of it.
There's a couple moments when like they have the flashlight in his face.
Yeah.
You're like, but overall, I think it looks pretty good.
Looks pretty good. Yeah, one of the best versions of that they could have done. I think Phoebe Waller-Bridge is really great, and I think they have really good chemistry together. Let me see how'd this go. Yeah, it's. The action adventure thing is the set pieces from the originals. A lot of people were going back and watching them. I listened to them talk about them on some podcasts this week, and they were talking about how the set pieces is there and Harrison Ford's contributions to them and all that stuff it's never going to hold up. It's never going to be the same as like the rock tumbling towards him. Was it the second movie or the first movie?
The first movie. That's the very beginning of the first movie.
The rock coming towards him in that movie. There's just other scenes and moments and shots and all of that stuff. You're never going to make one that's going to live up to your memory of seeing those when you were a kid. You're just not going to. But I think they did. They did a fairly good job here of making, believable set pieces. I think the guy's 70. He's supposed to be like 70, 75, the character, and obviously
he's supposed to be 70. Harrison Ford is actually 80. I think he was shooting when he was 79.
But they did as well as they could have. I think there's this was parts where you're like, well. Is he going to climb all that cliff? Is he actually going to punch that guy out? Is he actually going to hang on to that vehicle that's going very, very quickly throughout these streets? There's always the moment of like, well, could that guy was aiming his gun 12 feet from him? Could he have really missed? And with that shotgun, probably would have destroyed all three people sitting in that car. But you have to sort of pause that.
And that's the thing. Like I was seeing this movie with the friend I saw with, and she was saying like. She's like, I don't know if like a tuk-tuk would really go that fast. And I was like, have you seen? And I was like, have you seen an Indiana Jones movie? Because they're all doing this kind of. And she's like, that's why it was fine. I think it was like if it was like a Mission Impossible movie or something, it might have been a little bit. But like this is Indy. It's a throwback to the old serials, So
exactly. So speaking of throwing back to the serials, for some reason I always love those moments where when they're traveling somewhere and they do that map thing and they do the arrow sweeping across the map.
God. I got so fucking. I like turned my friend and I would just like my face was fucking beat because it doesn't come until like a good chunk of the movie. And I just said to her, I was like, I have never been so fucking excited in my entire life to see a goddamn map.
Yes, exactly. What I always think about when I see that kind of stuff is like they must be jet lag so bad. I get like the worst jet lag. I've only been outside the country a few times, but when I did, it took me like a week to get used to the time change. And that's always what I think about when I watch these movies of like he just came into Tangiers, now he's going to the bar. What time is it? Did he sleep at all? I'd be so tired.
Well, he sleeps on the plane. We saw that in the second one. He just sleeps on the plane.
Yeah, true. The Tangier scene was great. The chase, the car chase in Tangiers was really well done. I love all those quick like jump moments where Indy has to jump from the tuk-tuk one to the other. Yeah, I love this. Just the idea of them going back, like you said, to this old time, and him, Indy, being like, "Wow, we're witnessing history, and I should stay here because I am also part of history, and no one's appreciating this." I love the little callbacks. Speaking of him being somebody that's not. Somebody that's not being appreciated in his time. In the first couple of movies, he's teaching class, and there's the students that are watching him with reverence, and the girl blinks her eyes, and
they want to fuck him.
They want to fuck him, exactly. Nobody wants to fuck this guy anymore. They're all falling asleep in his class. Right. What was I saying? About
you want to fuck Indy.
They want to fuck Indiana Jones, yeah. No, I like the part you're saying about him wanting to stay back in time because he felt unappreciated in his time, and he's witnessing history back then. Did your theater laugh when Indy was like, I want to stay here, I want to live here now, and what did he say? He's like, I have to, and she's like, yeah, I have to do this too, and she punches him.
Yes, they did. That was great. I fucking loved that.
That was a very funny moment. Yeah. Just a great movie overall. I love. I got choked up at the end when Marion. Spoilers for the movie, but Marion comes in at the end.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing that whole how are you feeling? And he's like, everything hurts, and she's like, what doesn't? The callback from.
That's so good. It's so fucking good. Oh my god, I love these movies, Damian.
Yeah,
I love these fucking movies, and that was such a great callback.
Yes, it was a great callback. Yep, great ending, perfect ending. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Oh my god, I'm so glad you liked it. Because I feel like this movie's been very divisive. And I don't think anybody out and out hates it. But I think that some people are maybe nitpicking a little harder than others. But God, it was just a fucking adventure at the theater. It really was, and it had just the right amount of nostalgia. It wasn't weighted down by it. But then when you're like, yeah, it's good that Indy mentions that he's like, yeah, some crazy shit has happened to me. I had to drink the blood of Colleen. Solid would be like, and then Indy and Marion were running away and the plane exploded. I would tell that story every day of my fucking life, So it makes sense that these characters are telling these stories. And you're like, cool. Yeah. It's always weird. I always thought it was really weird in Last Crusade when he was just like, yep, nothing weird's ever happened to me before. I'm like, what are you talking about, bro?
Yes.
So I really liked that. And then, it just, I don't know. It just felt like a perfect ending to this character that I've loved my entire life. And it's the world, the world still needs, just like the world in the movie still needs Indiana Jones. We, in the real world, still need Indiana Jones. And no one else can be Indy. It's got to be Harrison. This has got to be it. This is done. There's no more Indy. Give us a short round show. Disney Plus Adventures of Short Round.
Exactly.
I'll watch that, but this is it for Indy. Give us Mutt Funeral. Mutt Williams gets shot in the face in Vietnam. I did not have that on my fucking bingo card. Right. Shia LaBeouf dies in Vietnam, but God, they pulled it off.
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to see here what it's not doing bonkers at the box office, right?
It's doing pretty rough at the box office. It had a very rough. It's because they had a pretty rough opening weekend. It only did about $60 million, which is really bad. But then it had a weirdly strong 4th of July, which movies, especially when there's a work day and then you go, they usually don't do that well. And so we'll see how it goes this weekend. If it's basically got two routes. It can basically hold The Flash and be a humongous disaster, or it can hold Elemental, which Elemental is now even though it did really bad on its first weekend and it got beat by The Flash, it's been holding really solidly to the point where it's now The Flash isn't even making $1 million at the box office in any given day, and Elemental's still making $5-6 million. So if it can hold Elemental, and if it does well internationally, it'll be okay. It's another one of This summer has been fraught with movies that have humongous price tags, so they need to make $1 billion worldwide. Fast X is another one nobody's talking about. Sure, it made a lot of money, especially internationally, but the price tag on that thing was about the same as Avatar 2.
Yeah,
and it did not make Avatar 2 money. Nothing did. Right. And despite it being profitable, it's it was had an egregious price tag. So it's there's a lot of, and then you have to factor in like marketing and you know, cross promotion. There's so many. It's weird. It's figuring out if movies are profitable is the weirdest thing in the world.
Yes, yes, it is. Yeah,
and you can't tell it from one weekend because sorry, I didn't cut it.
No, I was just to say, why don't we take a break so you can take a piss real quick, and then we can talk about the summer movie wager when I get back.
All right.
Okay. And we're back. Summer movie wager. Haven't checked in on this for a while. So let's go to the official rating board right now. Recording this on July 9th, right? July 8th into 9th. So right now, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, number one, $356 million in change. Right behind it.
All right.
Oh, yep. Sorry to check in.
Sorry, I just got back. Were you in the middle of...
Yeah, I forgot to check in with you there. The summer movie wager leaderboard right now. Do you know what it is offhand without checking in?
I just have you and me pulled up. I don't have anybody else pulled up.
Oh, okay. So just overall, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, $356 million.
Oh, yeah, I have all the box office stuff pulled up. Yeah. Actually, I don't have you pulled up. Let me add you in there to the scoreboard. So Guardians of the Galaxy as of time of recording, but by the time this weekend is over, because I have a feeling there will be a new champ and Guardians will be knocked off of its perch.
Right. Let me see here. I just added you in. Scroll over. We are. Let's see. I'm 2 points ahead of you. I have 43 points. 43 points. For now.
As of time of recording.
Yes. Let's see. Everyone has Little Mermaid in the right spot. Everyone except for who's that? Devindra doesn't have Mermaid at number 3. Little Mermaid is at 3, number $286 million, right below Spider-Man with $351 million, just in case I didn't mention that. Fast X is number 4 with $145 million. Seems like, did we mention this? Like the whole box office is way down over.
Yeah, box office, that's the thing. Like because we were just talking about how Indy kind of underperformed, doing $60 million. It beat the next best movie by $50 million.
Yeah, people are wondering, is it the movies? Is it the movie, the quality themselves? Is it superhero burnout? Is it blockbuster burnout? Is it too many movies releasing too close together? I think people are just broke. I think groceries cost too much, like we were saying before. Rent costs too much. People are broke. People are hurting out there, and I think that's probably a big part of it.
I don't think you're wrong. I think it's also, I think it's that, and it's also, especially with Disney, it's the people, like all these studios, Disney, Warner Brothers, trained audiences during the pandemic to be like, nope, you know what, we're just gonna put things on our apps, and now they're like, just kidding, we don't want you to watch things on the app, we want you to go see things in theaters. And especially, I think Disney Plus is the big thing, because it's like, and I'm guilty of this myself. I'm like, well, I could watch Elemental, and I can see movies for free. I see 3 free movies a week with my fucking pass. But I'm like, I'm just gonna wait for it to be on Disney Plus in 2 weeks. Yeah, because it's gonna be, that's the thing. And I think that's the big thing with a lot of these superhero movies. Like people are just like, I don't want to go support The Flash and Ezra Miller. I'll just watch it when it's on HBO Max, or Max, excuse me. Yeah,
I don't know. Just talking about that in general. Like, I'm talking to my coworkers a lot about what I'm seeing every week, and they're like, do you know the response I get most of the time when I tell people what I'm going to see? Like, I've never even heard of that. I didn't even know that was even out. It's just.
See, I'm like, I have like a group of like friends that I go see. Like, we just went and saw Past Lives. Who the fuck sees Past Lives? But.
Yeah. Do you think that reaction of I didn't even know that was a thing, is that more of an indication of their just being out of touch? They don't look up that stuff, or do you think it's bad marketing? Why do you think so many people are just I didn't even know that was a thing?
Well, what the things that you're saying, I didn't know that's a thing. Is it because I think we're living in an era where movies are all about brand recognition, right? So I could see someone being like, I didn't know Elemental was a thing, even though it's a Pixar movie, but if you're like, oh, I'm gonna go see the Little Mermaid. You know, everyone fucking
remake, yeah.
probably knows that's a thing. You know, like I'm gonna go see the new Fast and Furious. Everybody knows that's a thing. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, just to round out the list here. So right now, Fast X is number 4 at 145 million. Transformers: Rise of the Beast is 143 million. Number 5. The Flash coming in at 103 million. And The Flash and Elemental are neck and neck. Elemental is sitting at number 7 with 102 million. And Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny in its second weekend. Well, you know, like I said, the second weekend isn't counted yet, but right now it's sitting at also 102 million. Boogeyman, which I don't think is on anybody's list. Unless somebody had a dark horse. Yeah, I don't see.
That's not going to be there for much longer. It's just waiting.
I don't know. With the way the things are going, it very well could be.
You think that the Boogeyman is gonna is the Boogeyman gonna outlast? Because once Mission Impossible comes out, it's gonna knock.
Yeah, Mission Impossible, Oppenheimer, Barbie.
Yeah, Mission Impossible, Barbie. Yeah, even Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You know, it would knock it off.
No hard feelings.
It's just that only 8 big films have come out so far.
True, yeah. No hard feelings, like I just want to mention, is still there at 36 million. Asteroid City performed pretty well.
What if Asteroid City's been doing really well.
Yeah.
Did we talk about that? Did I talk about that?
Yeah, when it came out, yeah. Yeah. Okay. We didn't talk about how well it did at the box office. Like that. Yeah. That seems like
for a smaller film, it's doing very, very well.
Very well. Yeah, I think my like I said, when I saw it, my theater was packed. My theater was packed today for Indiana Jones. So, you know, I think a lot of these things are just, like you said, we're only in the beginning of July. A lot of things still need to come out. These things will probably make... Do they count... this is just domestic, but are we counting like rentals after they come out or no?
No, it's just box office.
Just a box office, okay.
Returns, yeah.
Yeah, like let's look at other people's lists here. Like Jeff has Guardians 3, number 1, Indiana Jones at number 2. A lot of people have Indiana Jones at number 2.
Yeah. I had it at 1, so that's probably not going to be right. But then again, you didn't have it at all.
I didn't have it at all. Yeah, I didn't have that.
That's a bad prediction on both of our parts. But.
Yeah, I don't have it at all. I don't have Fast X on there, which is probably going to be looking. Yeah. If I had to guess right now, I'd say it's probably going to stay where it is, number 4 or 5. Yeah.
Yeah. What did I have it at? I had it at. Well, I don't know. You don't think Mission Impossible is going to get in front of it?
It might. I don't know. And Little Mermaid. Well, Little Mermaid's probably going to drop down below. I don't know. Actually, I don't know about Oppenheimer.
What's going to get ahead of Little Mermaid?
Mission Impossible, probably.
Wait, you just said you don't know if it. Wait, how can it
what?
Not beat Fast X, but it will also beat Little Mermaid?
I think it'll beat Little Mermaid, but not Fast X. Or no, yeah, sorry. It'll be above both of those. So Little Mermaid and Fast X will probably drop down. If I had to guess, well, let me just go to my official guessing. Why am I just
yes
out here randomly guessing? So I have Guardians 3 number 1. That's correct. Mission was correct right now.
Well, it's by the time that people listen to this, it won't be. So I'm just saying that right now.
Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning coming out July 12th next week. I have that number 2. I have Little Mermaid number 3, which is probably going to drop way down. That was a bad call right there. I'm saying it. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse I have number 4. Oppenheimer's
we were low on that. That was a goof.
Yeah, we were all low on that. Oppenheimer's probably too high. I have that at 5. Just thinking right now, Barbie is number 6. That's probably too high. Transformers: Rise of the Beast number 7. That's probably right where it's going to sit. At the end.
No, because what is it at right now?
Good question. Transformers: Rise of the Beast is at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Number 5 right now.
You know what? Then because
right.
Well, it's about to be beaten. Indy's gonna pass it.
Yeah.
At some point, and then what's it called? Mission Impossible is going to pass it. The only question is either Barbie or Oppenheimer also going to pass it.
Yeah,
that one surprised me. That was I had that as my dark horse. I didn't have it in my top 10, so that was a good call by you.
Thank you. One of the good calls. One of the only good calls I had. Let's see what else. Flash 8, which is probably too low. Elemental.
Honestly,
Lanai.
it might be too high. It might not even make the top 10.
That's true.
Like,
That's true.
Like you called The Flash better than almost anyone.
Yeah, it might be. So yeah, let's see. For you have Indiana Jones #1. That's a little too high. Guardians 2, too low.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. No, it's gonna be. That's exactly because everyone else has. Look at the box office. Are you looking at it right now? This is as of Friday.
As of Friday,
it is only Spider-Verse is only $4 million behind Guardians.
Yep.
It's going to, by the time people are listening to this on Monday, Spider-Verse will have crossed Guardians.
Yep.
And that means that everyone except for me will be wrong about Guardians, because that was my big thing. I was like, I think that Guardians is something's going to beat it. And I picked Indy because, I was like, I'm such an Indy fan. But I was like, something's going to beat it, which it means that you guys are all going to drop. You guys are all going to lose 7 points because you're going to go from it being your number 1 and 13 down to your number 2. You're going to get 7 points, or you're going to lose 6 points.
Right.
And then I'm going to gain 5 points because because it's going to go, or I'm going to gain 3 points because it's going to go from 7 to 10 for me. So that's going to be a net of like 9 points for me. So I'm looking pretty good with my Guardians at 2, and I don't think anything else is gonna change that. So
no, yeah, I like your Oppenheimer at 10. I think that's the right place for that.
I think that's yeah. Seems right in the sweet spot. Flash could mess it up a little bit, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. We will see. All right. So with that, let's get to your Letterboxd assignment from last week. You had movie from 2009, directed by Adam Irwan, I believe that's how you pronounce that name. Starring Julianne Moore, Liam Neeson, and Amanda Seyfried. Did Liam Neeson have an American accent in this? Because it looks like he would.
You know what? Out of solidarity for you, Damian, and you're not
Slacking.
watching your Letterboxd assignment, which I noticed you didn't bring up, by the way.
Yeah, no.
It was not in the document notes. I also chose not to watch my movie, to be on the same page as you.
Yes. So. Yeah, so I just forgot to mention, or let me go back and mention, because I was thinking, why didn't I watch that? What was I doing this week? Oh, I was watching Barry and Twin Peaks. I watch a lot of Barry, has a lot of Twin Peaks-ness to it, a lot of surrealism in that show. Yeah, so I was like, let me go back and watch the granddaddy of them all, the one that I mentioned watching this, and you're like, yeah, it's the forefather of all the prestige TV we're watching now.
It really is.
It is. It came out, debuted in April 8th, 1990. Ran for 2 seasons. Obviously directed by David Lynch. Kyle MacLachlan plays one of the main characters, young Kyle MacLachlan. Young Lara Flynn Boyle is in this. A lot of young actors were in this. Piper Laurie was in this. This thing is crazy, dude. I cannot imagine watching the show on network TV in 1990, like all the stuff that happens in the show, like all of the you know what it is? It's like I didn't realize this going into it, but it's very much a satire of like daytime soaps, but also like primetime soaps. Yeah, have you seen this show?
It's got that like fake soap opera that they watch in the background a lot of times. I can't remember what it's called. It's been a minute since I watched the original series.
Oh, you watched the whole thing?
I did watch the whole thing. I watched it probably in like 2012. I watched the 2 seasons. I never watched the movie. Yeah. But then I watched the revival. Yeah. Which I actually did not care for. I know people love the revival. Yeah. There's one really good episode. I think there's one episode that's absolutely phenomenal. But I don't know. It didn't work for me. It felt like David Lynch crawling way too far up his own ass.
Yeah. So full spoilers for at least the first, because I got to episode 7 of season 2, which is the reveal, which famously the network told David Lynch to put this in there at that point, and that's why he left the show, right? They told him to, because they didn't want to reveal it at that point.
Yeah, had less of a hand in it going forward.
Yeah. Yeah, he was in the show. He played one of the detectives on there. Like he was kind of.
Yes. David, we're sending David Duchovny.
Yeah, he plays the guy who's hard of hearing, so he has to yell the entire time. It's very funny.
The horizon.
The horizon. You got to put the horizon. The horizon's at the bottom. It's interesting. If it's at the top, it's interesting. If it's in the middle, it's not interesting. I cannot imagine, like I said, I cannot imagine watching this show, especially the reveal. So I'll spoil this for a 25-year-old show at this point. The big mystery for the whole show is who killed Laura Palmer. And in the 7th episode of the 2nd season, they reveal that her father killed her. And her father was also molesting her and having sex with her, which is fucked up, so fucked up. And the scene where they show him murdering her it still fucking fucked me up. It was still incredible to watch and disturbing to watch, and it goes on for forever and so weird and bizarre. Like I cannot imagine people watching like Cheers and then switching over to this and be like, what?
Oh my god, yeah.
The fuck are we even watching right now? Oh
yeah,
my
like
god,
without this, like all of the shit that I love, like, you know, I like to say, like, you know, there was like Lost was one of the big like shows that was like, okay, we're gonna do like serialized prestige sci-fi mystery TV, but Lost would not have been a thing without this before it. You know, like this and like all of Damon Lindelof stuff, like all the stuff that I love today. This isn't like the father of it. This is the grandfather of it. This is like before this was like the very first step to getting to what the kind of things are today of prestige TV, especially genre, especially not just prestige TV, but genre TV in a way that it's not like Star Trek where it's just episode. Like here we just going on this adventure where it is telling a serialized story with a mythology. Because even X-Files it did have a larger mythology, but it was still incredibly serialized.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm glad you brought up X-Files because I feel like that. I think the tone of X-Files owes a lot to Twin Peaks.
Yeah, X-Files is like if Lost is the grandfather of genre TV, and stay with me here, and Twin Peaks is the grandfather, then X-Files is the kooky uncle.
Exactly. So what is Millennium? Millennium, the spinoff of X-Files.
What is Millennium? Is that the like Lone Gunman show or whatever?
No, they made the Lone Gunman show, which predicted 9/11, but they also made Millennium, which was a show. I believe it was. Let me see, Millennium. I forgot the guy who was in it. Famous actor. He played one of the cyborgs. He was the cyborg in Alien 3, I think. Or no, he was in Alien
Bishop?
4. Bishop, yeah. Let me see. I can't even find it. Millennium. It was really dark. I remember it being like really fucked up, and my mom's friend
I never
watched
saw it.
Yeah. Let me see. Millennium TV show. Millennium TV show created by Chris Carter, which aired on Fox. Ex-FBI agent Frank Black, played by Lance Hendrickson, was a consultant. So was it? I don't know if it was a direct spinoff or. Okay, yeah, he was in season 7 of X-Files. Special agent Frank Black. Yes, but what were we saying? X-Files was like the kooky uncle. Yeah, this was just like the weird second wife of the kooky uncle was Millennium. Yeah, just a wild show. So there's 22 episodes of the 2nd season. I just watched the 7th one, so I got a ways to go. You said you watched the movie, The Fire Walk with Me?
I didn't see the movie. I saw.
Oh, okay.
That's the only thing I didn't see. With Bowie, I watched the revival of it, the 2017 revival. I watched that during lockdown.
Yeah.
Which is, I watched it all the way through.
Yeah.
It's something else.
Yeah, they had a lot of scenes. I think they had actually 2 scenes from the revival on the top 50 best horror movies moments of all time, right? The past one.
I know they had at least one, and I think it was from the episode that I actually really, really enjoyed. There's a really, really good episode that I thought was phenomenal. But
I can't wait to watch that. Just for reference,
watch. I would say don't do it. I did watch the movie because I thought I don't need to watch the movie, and there's like a lot of shit from the movie that I was like, who's this guy? Like, what is happening? Okay, Firewalk with Me. That's the name of the movie. They keep saying it, so I guess I should have watched that.
Yeah. I think it's a prequel. I think that's what the deal is.
It's like a prequel, and it's like part of it's Cooper's story, and part of it's like you find out what was going on with like Leland Palmer and being possessed, and
by Bob, Bob the devil,
by Bob, who was a guy who was just in. He was like a fucking grip or some shit, and he was in like he just happened to accidentally end up in the shot in like a mirror, and he looked spooky as shit. So David Lynch is like, here's the idea. See, since you are in this thing, it means you're actually a demon that is possessing him. Like, instead of just being like, oh, that was just, a fuck up, whatever. Yeah. It's like, it's just like, no, yes, you're like the main antagonist of the entire thing. Guy who's never acted before, who just kind of looks spooky and was accidentally in a shot of a mirror, and becomes like the big overarching evil demon. Like, fucking, that's some David Lynch shit,
Yes, exactly. Are you a Lynch guy? I don't know if we ever talked about where you're at with
I love Twin
David
Peaks.
Lynch.
That's the only thing I've seen of his, though, is Twin Peaks. So, I need to watch. I just what about I've never had a day when like I'm like, you know what I'm gonna throw on today? Blue Velvet. I didn't see Dennis Hopper like fucking commit atrocities or whatever.
Yeah, or
Blue Ribbon.
I had the urge to watch what's the one, Wild at Heart, where you can watch Willem Dafoe molest what's her name from Jurassic Park?
I'm good. I'm fucking. Yeah. Oh, she is always getting molested in fucking David Lynch shit.
Yeah, she is. Let me see. So
Poor
Bob,
Laura Dern, man.
Yeah, played by Frank Silva. He was a set director and occasional actor, known for his performance as the evil spirit Killer Bob.
Occasional actor because he was in Twin Peaks, and he was not an actor before that.
He's an interdimensional entity who feeds on pain and sorrow. So it's a thing from It. It was the clown from It.
I was about to say it's the aliens from Crystal Skull.
Them too.
Interdimensional beings, in point of fact. They're from the space between spaces.
Yeah, which is that's the fourth dimension. That's what if you ever read one of my favorite sci-fi books is Three Body Problem. So they deal with like the aliens from that are able to traverse from the fourth dimension. Like we're in the third dimension now, right? So if you go below the third dimension, that's 2D stuff, right? And then you go up another dimension, that's the fourth dimension. So like if somebody draws a picture of like a person and there's like just a box and you draw.
There's a really good explanation of this in both versions, the Carl Sagan and the Neil deGrasse Tyson of Cosmos of this.
Okay, so you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Fourth dimensional beings. I think that's probably the most likely scenario of like that's not extraterrestrial things. They're not living on Alpha Centauri or whatever. It's probably beings that can travel, not travel, but they're just living.
That's also kind of the end of Interstellar. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, I mean, they're using fourth dimension in terms of like time, right? Aren't they? Or
that is the fourth dimension.
No. There's like, is it? Okay, yes, it is. The fourth time is the fourth dimension, but also
it's the whole thing. They build them the Tesseract. They're constructing their fifth dimensional beings, and they're using their knowledge of fifth dimensional space to construct a fourth dimensional Tesseract, so you can understand it and move through time. It's like a whole thing.
Exactly. You nailed it. Let's see. So let's do letterbox assignments, just in case we have some time to do it.
Well, before we do that, I have just a quick question. You want to, since we talked, I was going to ask you earlier, but I forgot. You want to rate what's your ranking of Indiana Jones movies?
Oh boy, I mean, I'd have to rewatch them to give you an accurate,
because I did rewatch them.
Answer.
I can give you my rankings.
Go ahead. All
right, I'm gonna surprise some people maybe here, because number one with a bullet, Last Crusade, perfect fucking movie, but Raiders. Then number two, it's honestly like 1A is Raiders. Like those are both 5-star perfect movies.
Yeah,
and then. Dial of Destiny, number 3. All right?
Nice.
Put Dial of Destiny, number 3. Fucking great. Then Temple of Doom, number 4, or really 3A. That's the next tier, and then Crystal Skull on the bottom there. That's my rankings. And, because I was thinking about it a lot. I was like, man, was this actually better than Temple of Doom? And they're close, but I think... And on a given day, maybe I like Temple of Doom better, but I think that this one just worked better for me. I think, honestly, it's the ones where if Nazis get punched in the face, and if Saul is there,
Yeah.
It's gonna be one of the best in these movies. Also, I didn't say this before. I'll just say it right now. I got to see Boyd Holbrook shooting a fucking Gatling gun at ancient Romans. Like, that shit was great. That shit was incredible.
Great.
I never thought I would see that in an Indiana Jones movie.
Yeah, that was great. I love that moment when they crash, when the Nazis die. That's a great moment. But I still love. Yes. Love is a weird word, but the part where they jump to 1969 and the guy and what's his name? Oh my god, I'm blanking on everything because it's getting warm in here again. The AC's been off too long. Mads Mikkelsen's character was talking to the black guy, and he's like, where are your people from? Yeah. And he's like, you didn't win the war, Hitler just lost it. And yeah, that's a very good scene of just setting
You're
up,
like,
obviously.
Fuck this guy.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Very very good efficient scene of this guy's a piece of shit, and here's why. In case you didn't know, in case you're on the fence about the whole Nazi situation, here's why. Yeah. Here's why he's a piece of shit. Yeah.
Yeah, clearly, by the way, based on Werner von Braun, the scientist who worked with the U.S. government. Also, like, he's a Nazi then, was like, who built us rockets and got us to the moon. And I just love how just recently Disney properties have just been like, hey, Operation Paperclip, bad idea. Remember that? Like, you got it with Captain America, Winter Soldier, Captain America, Winter Soldier, which is a little while back now, but then you got it in Marvel, then you got it in Indy, and you also had it recently in Star Wars, they had Andor, like, hey, they're doing an Operation Paperclip in the Star Wars universe, that was maybe a bad idea. And
also going to be probably featured in Oppenheimer as well, since we, brought those guys over to help build the bomb too, right? Yeah.
Yep. Well, because that's not going to be an Operation Paperclip, because they're trying to beat the Nazis. This is before
there was somebody that worked on the program that I was just listening to the last podcast on the left, did like a pretty amazing 6-part series on the building of the bomb of not just Oppenheimer, but the whole Manhattan Project. They talked about how they. People left Germany, obviously, right? So a lot of scientists left Germany.
That's not Operation Paperclip, right? Operation Paperclip is we won the war.
Yes.
And we had a bunch of Nazi war criminals, and the U.S. and the Soviet Union just, like, fucking kids on the fucking blacktop at recess picked which war criminals they were going to go and help them build their fucking rockets. And that was, so it's not like, Einstein escaped from Austria fucking 20 years ago, and now he's helping us out. It's like, this guy was responsible partially for running a death camp,
right?
And we got him building us rockets now.
Yes, totally agree with that. I just it needs to be said that when they went to Germany after the war, right? They won the war, 45, Hitler's dead. The Allied powers go to Germany and they're like, okay, let's purge Germany of all the Nazis and keep everyone who's not Nazi. Oh wait, everyone's a Nazi? Fuck. So it wasn't like they were saying, oh, let's keep the Nazis because we like Nazis. They were like, we need to keep the Nazis around because everybody's a fucking Nazi, and if we get rid of all the Nazis, we're not going to have anybody left to run the fucking country.
Everybody was a member of the Nazi party, but Werner von Braun actually worked and oversaw a death camp. So
there were, and
he was like the head of one of the main guys working on the rockets, the NASA program. So
yes, true. Yeah. That specific guy, fuck him. But yes. Anyways, so Letterboxd.
Yes,
Letterboxd. Let's see. Oh, sorry, I was going to rank my Indiana Jones movies. I'll just copy and paste yours. Temple of Doom. I watched them for the first time. I think I talked to you about this when I watched them, or maybe a couple of years after. Because I feel like overall my affinity for the movies isn't as strong as yours, just because I didn't grow up watching them. So when
and you're not like an adventure guy. No, I love that genre. Yeah.
It's just, in general, my body's breaking down at a quick pace. So the idea of just being an adventurer and adventuring in general is just not a thing I'm into these days. So seeing that,
it would be like Walter Donovan, like looking for the cup.
Exactly. Yes. I'll just go with yours. Temple of Doom. Great moments, great set pieces. I think there are just as many iconic shots and moments from that movie as there are from Raiders, as the one people always reference when they're talking about some of the best action adventure movies of all time. I think Temple of Doom should be held in the same conversation as Raiders. So I'll say.
So wait, are you putting? Because I had that at my number 4. Are you putting that at number 1?
Sorry, not Temple of Doom. Last Crusade. Last Crusade number 1. Raiders 2. I'll follow you with Dial Destiny number 3. Great number 3 slot in there. And Temple of Doom. Where are we at? 3? 4.
4.
Temple of Doom 4. Crystal Skull 5. Yes, that. That order.
All right, yeah, and then the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles, number 6,
somewhere in there. Exactly. Yep. All right, so let's go to our watch list and pick a movie to watch for next time. I'm gonna hit shuffle on mine. I'm gonna sort by what my service is. Hit shuffle, and I get Judgment at Nuremberg. What? That's
more Nazis for you.
More Nazis. The Nazis are back on the menu,
trial.
boys.
Is that what it's? Is it about the Nuremberg trials? I don't know. I don't know what that movie is.
I would assume so. Okay. In
You don't know what it's about? It's in your watch list.
In 1947, 4 German judges who served on the bench during the Nazi regime face a military tribunal to answer charges of crimes against humanity. Starring Spencer Tracy, Burt Lancaster, Richard Widmark, Marlene Diedrichs, and let me see what year this came out. 1961. So an aging Judy Garland was also in this.
Huh, interesting.
Oh, William Shatner. Interesting. Did not know that.
Judy Garland and William Shatner in the Nazi trial movie.
In the Nazi trial
I'm
movie.
very curious to hear what that's going to be.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of 5-star ratings on here. So, yeah, that's my movie. So, yeah, tell me what you get over there on your shuffle.
Right, shuffling. Fuck, okay. I'm not excited about this. Once Upon a Time in the West. Long-ass fucking Sergio Leone. It's supposed to be a great fucking movie. I might have this on I might have saw this at like a Target checkout years ago. I'm like, oh, it's supposed to be a great movie. I'll buy it on before streaming was number 55 ranked in Letterboxd
interesting
top 250. It's on Amazon and Paramount. So how long is this fucking thing? 166 minutes. All right.
That's
all right. Once Upon a Time in the West.
That's not that long. That's 3 hours ish. Yeah.
That's a fucking long time, man. What are you talking about? 3 hours is not that long.
2 hours 40
minutes.
At least
it's not like Once Upon a Time in America.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've seen that.
Still, that's too long, man. I was like, I got out of Joyride. I was 95 minutes. Yeah. So nice.
Yes. Once Upon a Time in the West, Sergio Leone classic. I think Tarantino would be very happy with your choice here. He loves those movies. He does. All right, so do some plugs. Medium blog, not as active as I have been, but I'll try to get back to that for some lists coming up, maybe coming year. Letterboxd B for Benedetta, like I just said. 10 away from followers. Am I still 10 away? Let's find out if the plugs do anything. Let's go to my profile. I am following 174 people. I have 90 followers. So still 10 away. Get me to 100 people, please. Film Essayist on YouTube. Go to anchor.com. Go to podcasting, Spotify, whatever it's called. Spotify for podcasters. Check out all my interviews from the past years. Derek, what do you got to plug?
I got to plug, as always, my show Underrated, my other podcast that I do. Excuse me. Speaking of Quentin Tarantino, yes. We covered on Underrated Jackie Brown.
Nice.
It was a patron pick. So one of our producer patrons had been at the producer level for 6 months, and when that happens, it means we let them choose a movie for us to review. And she chose Jackie Brown, which I think is probably the only Quentin Tarantino movie we could have covered on Underrated. That was a lot of fun. I love Jackie Brown, Pam Grier, great performance, great supporting performance from De Niro and Sam Jackson, and then the late great character actor, Robert Forster.
Yeah, right. Yep.
It's a great thriller. It feels very different from pretty much anything else that Tarantino has done, because it's based on an Elmore Leonard book Rum Punch. So
Yes.
definitely go and check that one out, people.
What's the movie that Michael Keaton was also in? He played the same character.
Out of Sight.
Out of Sight, yes.
Out of Sight, yeah, which I was trying to watch before I recorded, but I ran out of time. That's Soderbergh. It comes out 2 years later.
Yeah.
It comes up in the episode. We talk about it. I bring it up.
Gotcha. Yep. Yes, so definitely check that out. All right, so for Can I Say Something? I've been Damian.
And I've been Derek.
And we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.